to the point. So the topic for today, when Maya asked me what will be the topic, I said, if not now, when? And an hour ago, he asked me what I'm going to talk about. I said, I don't know yet. A minute ago, he asked me, I said, I still don't know. I said, I don't know. I just take the topic and we'll see what we do with that. But this question actually, if not now, when, is something that we all need to think about. So from a company perspective, or rather say from a founding point perspective, if not now, when? What does that mean? When you look around and you see what the status quo is of social media, and I'm going to share with you something very interesting that I was shared with today from the team within. Just looking for it now for a second, if you permit me. So we discussed all kind of stuff on the internal. So one of them shared both for Instagram and Facebook, which happened both to be under the same leadership, under the same owners. If you go through that version, so the message is on iOS. This person is probably using an iPhone. This is why you should. So the message on iOS is, after it implemented the block tracking feature, possible implication that Facebook can't be free anymore without all the users tracking data. These screenshots can help us legally. Whatever. So there's an entire conversation there. So Facebook can't be free, listen good, without tracking and exploiting users' privacy. That alone can justify to charge a fee for an advertisement-free platform and a tracking-free platform. These companies, they offer, people ask me, why should I come to your social media platform if actually every action is not for free? Because even though when we will allow free membership, it's to a certain extent, because even the free members, to do certain stuff on the platform that might be free in other platforms, they will need to be able to use their energy points, whether upon receival of registration, where they got an energy boost that contains 150 energy points, or if they buy additional energy points to use for certain features and functionalities on the platform at that time. So it boils down, actually, it's not for free, unless this person is really so lucky that his or her upline shares with them a lot of share power, energy boost, and so they fill up themselves with a lot of energy points. So probably they share a lot as well. So again, there must be some way that a person, it's not must way, I mean, in any time, in any way, a person that will be a user of Vitae, short or long term, won't have all the stuff for free, even though he or she is not an upgraded member, talking future, right? And the question is very simple. Why should I join Vitae? If I have the alternative of Facebook, of Instagram, of Twitter, for example, I mean, you can go on the list, of course, but it's just an example. All these platforms offer you a variety of options for free. Maybe they have some stuff as well for that costs you money. Take, for example, YouTube. There's a membership there as well. On LinkedIn, there's a paid membership as well. WhatsApp and Telegram are indicating that they're going to start charging for certain stuff. How come the question is always different? To me, the question is, now I don't deny the fact that they are free, whether they stay for free or not, that I don't know. It's beyond my knowledge. I'm not on their management nor on their board. So I don't know this stuff. But what I mean is, what's the other way to look at it? What's the other way to look at it? When I look at How come they charge nothing, barely nothing for their services? Well, obviously, the obvious is they don't charge the user, they charge the customer. Who is the customer? The advertiser. Which means, let's make it in a very simple manner. There is an advertiser where, let's use, for example, now Facebook tells them, listen up, I have an audience of XYZ in this area, in this age, in people who are interested in tennis or in football or I mean, you name it. Yeah. I mean, the criteria, everybody can set it up for themselves. And they tell them, listen up, you want to gain access to these people? Well, this is what's going to cost you. Now, with that money, of course, not everything goes into the pocket for profit. There's a lot of cost. All these servers, all these costs, all these employees. I mean, Facebook is a huge, giant corporation, right? So there's a lot of cost as well. But let alone that part, where else can they use their machine to monetize it to themselves and their benefit? And the answer is very simple. It's tracking people. It's literally tracking people, gathering information, and exploiting this information uses privacy to a third party. So it's not just advertisers. For example, you run a campaign for something. Maybe politics, maybe something else. It doesn't matter now what it is. The variety is so big. This is what we need to understand. They are that big. There are so many users. They have so much information. So you know, I have to use Facebook in order to gather this information. Now, either I'm going to go and just throw out, like in the old days, something in the newspaper, and hopefully it will attract people, or I'm going to go targeted marketing. So, for example, I want to influence an audience. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to Facebook. I mean, it's not literally as disgusting as I say it now, but I need to put into a perception of people understanding. And I tell you, listen up, I'm looking for people who are pro-Trump. And why is that? Because I want to explain them why Trump is so evil and why Joe Biden is so good. Why they should leave their pro-Trump agenda and join a pro-Biden agenda. Now, I'm not suggesting that I'm pro-Biden or pro-Trump. That's not my idea today here. What I am suggesting is that Facebook is a place to do so. It might be Twitter as well, because they know perfectly where the conversations go, what the interest is of their users, what kind of messages and content is being posted in this area. And then they can tell me, listen up, you want to have this audience? No problem. For this and this and this price, I'll give you the access. Now, what it means, the access doesn't really mean directly that the company is getting names from, hey, this is Mendy. He lives in Belgium. He's a chief commercial officer in Vitae. And here you go. No, that is really a big crime, obviously, today. Obviously, it doesn't work this day, but they tell them, listen up, you give me the content that you want to provide to this kind of person, and I'll make sure it appears on their page, it follows them all over the place, because they have these systems in place. It's called AI, artificial intelligence systems, right? They make a lot of money at that. Now, we at Vitae, we are basing ourselves against those two things. Why? Because we feel that's wrong. We feel that bothering people with advertisements is wrong, and we feel that tracing people and tracking them, selling them out, exploiting their data to others, we feel that is ethically, completely on its face, wrong. Now, here we go. We just shut it down. Two mainstream incomes of all giant social media platforms. We just said bye-bye. So in an idea, it's beautiful what we do. Wow. The first program that starts up and says, you know what, enough with that. They have some ethnicity in themselves, some ethics, right? But how will we be able to maintain a platform? How do we pay our developers? How do we pay our employees? How do we pay our servers? Yeah, I mean, you have no idea what the cost of servers are on a monthly basis. I'm not talking yearly, I'm talking on a monthly basis. We're not talking small digits. See what I mean? We need to tell the user, listen up. This is what we do. We do it for you, for us. It's a platform for the people. It's not a platform for enriching people on top. It's not a platform to enrich advertisers or political agendas. It's a platform where people can literally connect and communicate with each other, right? But we need to be able to use that and pay that platform. And this is why we charge for all those activities, why we charge from the user this amount, okay? Now, of course, the more we grow, the more we can start dividing in features and functionalities, which means if you look at it really long term, visualize it to yourself, an ultimate package of all the stuff inside will be an upgraded membership. But people will tell me, listen up, I don't need this feature. I don't need that functionality, for example. I just want to have this one and this one, this one. Well, you will be able to customize it to yourself, and you pay upon with energy points. If you see, whoa, I'm spending more energy points to the value of 199.99 credits per month, I might as well go and buy the upgraded package where I'm discounted to the features and functionalities that I have. Now, of course, you hear me talk about it and tell me, hey, Mendy, come on, where are those features? Right? Let me try not to sound smarter than you and not to try and make you stupid. Yeah, that's definitely not my intention. But if I can share with you, without breaching my NDA, some inside thoughts of how stuff works, actually it's common sense. Things just don't happen overnight. I just told my parents yesterday, we talked about it at supper. I told them that I remember there was a place, one of the roads in my area, they were building and building there all over the place, all the time. For years they were building and everything was blocked. It was really under construction. It was really annoying because 3/4 of the street you couldn't park. It was quite a large street. It was a mess. I don't need to explain to you how a construction site looks like. It was a huge construction site. So the entire area, the noise, everything, right? I mean, if you thought about taking a nap during the day, forget about it. Yeah. I remember passing by foot there. There was a huge plate in the front of the construction site, and it was written in Dutch, but in other words, it said in English, Rome wasn't built in a day. If it had been built in one day, we would have chosen the same architect. In other words, be patient. We can do it faster. We do what we can. I don't know who of you has some, I'm just going to take one department, IT skills, but I mean like really to a high level to build such a platform, right? Because agree to me, as much as I'm the same like you, I cannot do this alone. I have barely zero, I mean, compared to what we have built up until now, zero knowledge to IT. Yeah, I've learned a lot during the process, of course, because I'm involved. But I'm not the IT guy. I'm not a programmer. Building everything from scratch, you need to understand we are focusing a lot on privacy, on security. Yeah, which means if we use an open source code where we copy and adjust, and I'll give it to you in your language. Open source code means if you want to build now your website, what are you thinking of? Yeah, the first advertisement you see on YouTube, Wix. Hey, I created my website with Wix. So what do? You go to wix.com. I never tried it out, but I just saw it so many times on bothered by YouTube ads, right? So you go to wix.com, you add your logos, you add your fonts, you play with the background colors, you want to add some text. You have your program that you can work within this frame. But you get a frame, you work within the frame. But somebody has open sourced this code, which means if this code is so open source, good developers can actually hack through the system. So if you have, for example, assets of people on this system, you're not safe because believe me, you become a target. See what I mean? What we build and with the future to build to be the most powerful network of social media.
Trước khi mà qua phần tiếp theo á, em mong các anh chị giúp ban điều hành bằng cách là anh chị bấm vào nút like bên dưới cái video này nếu như anh chị thích nó, hay là nút dislike nếu như anh chị không thích, và anh chị cứ thẳng thắn nha anh chị. Cái việc này thật sự rất ý nghĩa đối với ban điều hành, tại vì ban điều hành cần nhìn vào số liệu thích hoặc không thích này để mà điều chỉnh, chỉnh sửa và hoàn thiện những cái video sau nó sẽ hay hơn cái video trước. Và nếu như anh chị thấy cái video sau mà hay hơn cái video trước thì chắc chắn cái người góp một phần vào đó là anh chị thông qua việc bấm vào nút thích hoặc là không thích, giúp cho ban điều hành nha anh chị nhé.
Obviously, we were going to become a daily target and an hourly target. This is why we decided to build everything from scratch. We didn't take one open source code from an external place, which means our developers are literally every single day coding and coding and coding to develop stuff. This is why it takes sometimes more time when you look from the outside. Come on, how long does it take to build in notifications? Come on, how much time does it take to build in translation? Whatever. I can give you so many examples. Everything is being built from scratch. Every little detail. This is what I mean. Now, some of you will ask, okay, so release us a roadmap. We should know when to expect what. Well, this would be very good. The answer is very simple. As much that there is a token related to this platform, because there's one single token we use to on our platform, we use this token as a utility token. In the second that we release a roadmap externally, we take this token and we make it a security token. Because people will start investing, and I'm talking about investing on the token based on the roadmap. Ahead of time, coin goes up. After time, not delivered, coin goes down. As much as every other project, right? I mean, you know the road, how it works like, yeah? I mean, people just, out of the blue, they look at the roadmap, this is the date, they keep their word, I'm in, they don't keep their word, I'm out, right? A security token is a whole lot different story. I mean, first of all, in a compliance way, in a legal way, yeah? I mean, governments don't like security tokens because you're actually promising something as a value behind. See what I mean? And then you go into entire market of speculation market, like the stock market, etc., which is a total different route. First of all, to be honest, we don't have that kinds of funds to start this process all over the world, because the second you do that, you got to be compliant in every single jurisdiction you use this token or exchange this token, or people have access to exchanges in this token, right? We don't want to go down this path. See what I mean? I'm just sharing with you some understanding to what it is that we do. But the question is, why are we doing it, and why are we doing it now? And here I come back from a founding point of view to, if not now, when? When I look as a founder to what the status quo nowadays is and how it goes worse and worse by the day. And we have all witnessed it in the last year, how social media went aggressive and arrogantly upon its users, upon content, upon subjects, without even blinking an eye, without becoming red, without even being ashamed of how, in concert, they do so in concert. It's not just one single platform that does so. They do it in concert. They can work together. Although they work against each other, as everyone has its own platform. I mean, Facebook, Instagram is one, yeah? But Facebook with Twitter, they're not one platform. It's two different entities, and everybody would like to be the number one, right? But in order to possess the power, they will work in concert to take you down. One of the known examples was Parler. Parler was a platform that started up for free speech, and Facebook kicked them out. Instagram obviously kicked them out. Twitter kicked them out. Apple and Google kicked them out of their app stores. And so did Amazon kick them out of their servers. because Amazon, of course, is the largest server provider nowadays, namely AWS. For those who don't know, yeah, they kicked them out of the service. They went in a concert without taking any accountability, without even being afraid that anyone will sue them or will take them down. And they can fight it because they have enough money. They're draining it down until you don't have enough funds to fight them back, not to let the concurrent come in. Question is, why should Vitae succeed if that's the case? Well, obviously, number one, Google and Apple can't throw us out because we don't even have an app, which is the good news. We don't. We have a mobile version. We don't have an app. This is the good news. So we don't need to be afraid of it. With regard to Amazon servers, we host our own servers. We don't want Amazon to look into our code. We don't want others to exploit our data, because this is what we provide to our users, their privacy. And when we say privacy, it's not just, hey, we're not going to sell, but we're going to look into it. No, we don't track our people, which means when Falca, for example, logs into Vitae, I cannot see the Falca's location where she's logged in from. I cannot read her private messages that she has with Joseph, for example. I cannot see his messages to Nejla. Not suggesting that you guys are chatting together, but maybe. I'm just giving examples, yeah? And I cannot see where you guys are writing from. And when I say I, it's not just me. It's the people working on the IT. It's the developers. It's everything. It's even the auditors that go through the audit of our code. Yeah, nobody can. Everything is encrypted, so there is no tracking. It just means that if we would have taken the risk that one developer decides to screw us and take information of people and leak it on the net, it's impossible, because we don't possess such a program. We don't possess tracking, which means no employee can go out there and threaten us. If you don't give me this ransom, I will release people's information, and then your whole story about privacy will vanish, right? This is what I'm trying to explain to you. Everything is encrypted from zero, from scratch. Now, here's the problem. Think about YouTube. You are getting a note. So today I told someone, yeah, look, at the end of the day, we're all going to end up paying YouTube. Just stop bothering us with that, because it's really getting crazy. Although maybe I'll say it's peanuts, it's small money, leave me by. Yeah? So this person says, well, you know, there are new platforms today we can get to many, many more videos. Say, okay, come on. When you're looking for something, you want to figure something out, how it works, how it's done, it's YouTube. Then he tells me, look, this is the power of the big ones. They have earned the market. In order to fight that, or to create the alternative, as we call it, you need to start somewhere. I cannot start with a platform with, boom, we have 1 billion users. I don't buy people. You don't collect people on the street. Guys, all sign in now because I said so. No, it doesn't work this way. It goes from word to mouth. It goes from one to another. And that's how Telegram has been grown. That's how TikTok has done it. But that's how Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp have done it as well. They're amongst the biggest platforms. They've done it as well. Word of mouth. You invited people. You send them a link. Invited them to the app. How much did you get for it? 0. 2 different things. We do it a different way. You help us grow. People buy through you products and services of our platform. We reward you for that. Because we think about you. We're not using you to make our platform big, as the others do. And if you don't believe me, just look at what the others do. They don't pay you for that. And you do it anyways. Whether it's Signal, whatever. Right? Remember when there was the new terms and conditions of Facebook? Everybody jumped on Telegram and Signal, right? You know how many people I invited to Signal? Last time I checked, I didn't see any pop-up coming. Bingo. No. It's not that they don't have a destiny matrix. They don't have a purpose. They don't have a garden sunburst as well. They don't have share power. They have nothing. They have one thing. Do the job, make me big, and go screw yourself. Period. That's how they do it. You can always look at, again, there's a lot of negative points on Vitae as well. Takes so much time. They promise this, they promise that, and why, and where's this, and where's that, and the token goes down, and that. There's a lot of negative stuff to say. We are not the experts of the world. When you grow, the experts are coming in. See what I mean? I remember I met once a person that was in 7th place of Facebook. Obviously, he's not there anymore. He doesn't have the skills to run such an operation nowadays. It requires different kind of people. It's a different level. When you grow, you become bigger, you get more experts of the street. You offer them more, you have more to offer, and they take you to the next level, right? This is how it works. We have now an amazing CEO. It's far beyond the level we have been working up until now. It's a next level. It's a person that has an amazing, amazing, amazing CV. A person who has reached a lot in her life on a very high level. This expertise comes into the picture and takes the company to the next level. Will she stay our CEO forever? I don't know. You never know. But it definitely takes you forward. And that's the message, forward. But if we don't do it today, when should we do it? When we give them more power, when they can exploit us even more, where there's no option anymore to create something as an alternative, that they gain so much power that they can really control everything what you do through your devices. Now, I'm not here conspirating that the vaccines have microchips and they tell you what to do and how to walk and when to walk and when they make you tired. This is not my story. And this I leave for the WhatsApp messages, you see? For those people who want to read this kind of stuff, I leave it for them. What I'm suggesting is we are being controlled without a chip. See, 20 years ago, you could leave the house without your phone. And hey, 20 years ago, there was already cell phones. But it was not, okay, I forgot it. How do you look like today when you left home and you forgot your cell phone with you? How do you look like when you have your cell phone with you, when you have 3% battery, and you don't have a charger with you, but the adapter that you do have, damn, you forgot to recharge it, which means this one is empty too. How does your heartbeat look like at that time? How does your breath look like at that time? How is your nerves, your stress level looking at that time? How's the blood pressure doing? Are you relaxed? No, you're not. You're not. Don't fool yourself. You're not. We're being controlled. We're being so addicted. These companies, they invest so much. We get so addicted to these devices. Try one day to say, you know what? I own myself. I'm in control of myself. Today, I'm not going to use my cell phone. Today, I'm off. I control the day, not my WhatsApp, not my email, not my cell phone, not my text message. I control myself. I am deciding what my schedule is today. Nothing else will decide it for me. Not even one notification on my cell phone. Can you? I bet it's hard. I believe you can. Because you were born without it. As a human being, you can. You see, you weren't born without a hand. You weren't born without a hand. You weren't born without a foot. Because you can't walk without 2 feet. You need both of them. But you were born without teeth as a baby. And when you grow older, you lose them again. You can still feed yourself. There are alternatives. You can still feed yourself. See what I mean? It's not as necessary. Today, of course, you have alternatives to put in prosthetic teeth. But I mean, the idea. You were born without a phone. You can live a life without a phone. I can show you so many people who don't have cell phones and they live. But these companies have so much power in themselves to get us so addicted. We are anyways being controlled. Now, either we kid up ourselves now, we tell ourselves, if not now, when? And we decide, no, No, I'm owning myself. I'm the boss of myself. I will decide how my life looks like. Now, I'm not suggesting you should throw away your cell phone because you live in a community where everybody communicates this way. I'm not asking you to go write every single day a letter to your mom or to your children and go to the post office and send it to them just to ask how they are, and they should tell something about their life and send some pictures with the next letter. We're past this stage. We are already in a very innovative in the technology world. I understand that. But what I mean is the message. We should always keep ourselves very awake and asking ourselves, if we don't do it now, when should we do it? When will we do it? Or will we ever do it? Now, I explained it up until now from a founding perspective to set up a system that needs to fight that back. Now, of course, the more we grow, the more we share it, the more we can build forward and make it better and make it faster and make it stronger, the more people can join at that point in time. And this is how you build it up until we get to these large amounts where we can start competing with those big powers. Yeah. These monsters, as we were kids, you know, the big powers, the monsters, the ninjas, as we were kids. But you know what I mean? It takes time to build it. Nothing is being built in one day. Again, otherwise I would have taken the same architect as in Rome. If they would have done it in one day, they didn't. But what I mean is we're building, we're moving forward. How do you know that? Always, always, always look at the history. Look at the past. We started in 2018, right? In the late 2018, doesn't matter, right? Where have we been then? How did our platform look like then? How many hiccups were then at that time? A day, not a week, a day. How many screw-ups? What was the size of the team? What was the activity? What was the story? What was the marketing tools? And how we look today. This enough can tell you, are we in a good direction or not? Now, unfortunately, some of you are only here 2 days, or 3 days, or a week, or even a month. You don't know yet what I'm talking about. Therefore, you have a person that invited you. And if they don't know it, they have a person who invited them. Nobody came on this platform by registering themselves on a website. Boom, I'm here. No, this is like humanity. We grow from generation to generation. Every single person has here a parent to the system. And as much as we know what happened in the exile of Spain, about Exodus, about anything that you can think of history, is how do we know that? Not because it's written in the internet. No, that's not how you know it. You know it because your father told you that, because your mother told you that, because your grandfather told it to your father, and your grandmother told it to your grandmother, to your mother, sorry. And the great-grandfathers and the great-grandmothers brought it from generation to generation to generation. This is what it was, and this is how it went further on. If you want to know, you want to question yourself, when did the Bible arrive? When did the New Testament arrive? When did the Quran arrive? It all has history. We didn't witness it, but we have from generation to generation to generation how it all started, how it all came to us. And how is it that we live in a world that we speak this language? We use these terms to symbolize some stuff. Yeah? How did it come that this means good and this means bad? See what I mean? It goes past by from generation to generation. We were risen this way. So if you want to know if Vitae is on a good track or not, look at the past of Vitae. Although it's a small child, a small toddler, running around, you know, making stupid jokes and stuff funny, yeah? I mean, obviously, we stayed the same stage in 18 years from now, it's not going to be funny at all. If we wouldn't be expired by then, because if we do this stuff in 18 years from today, it's not going to be funny, right? But I mean the idea, we're growing. We're having something to show already. We're already investing in new technologies, in new features, in new innovations to provide more to the community and to provide more to our future. We are already in the making. See what I mean? But if not now, when? But that very same question applies to you. When you ask yourself, well, I joined Vitae, I want to have a huge team, I want to build this, I want to be part of it, I want to be recognized as the person who helped make this story a success. The question is, if you don't do it today, when will you do it? That is the question you got to ask yourself. Today, oh, I got to mow the lawn. Today, hey, I have some homework to do. Whoa, Mendy, I'm sorry that my mother had COVID. I needed to visit her. It was impossible. I need to cook everything for her because since she has COVID, she cannot even cook. Okay, maybe. I don't know. And I don't say these excuses are not justified. They may be justified. But when you lose a day, you lose 2 days. 2 days become 4 days, a week, a month, 3 months, and you lost a year of your life. When will you do it? You can't do it today? No problem. Open up your agenda. Open up your agenda and show me a date when you say, Mendy, this is my day. This is where I'm going to hit it. And I'm going to go to your upline. I'm going to send them, you know what, between me and you, let's make a quick win. 100 euros bet. Forget it. Not going to start this day. Something else is going to come up. Who wants to bet against me? If it's so important to you that you already know you're going to start about it, you should have started yesterday, not today and not tomorrow. True? This is what I mean. You take a decision. You decide I'm engaging. I'm the #1 fan. You don't become #1 fan in 3 weeks. You either like it or you're out. Or you don't. It's very simple. Living it, really living it, understanding. The construction site is annoying. I'm telling you, it's annoying. But the person, I'm always telling to you, the architect knows already what's going to come out. Every day is a character building day. Every day is moving forward another step. Every day. It's going forward. Ask yourself the question, if not now, when? The interesting part is, and I didn't lie to you about it because I can unmute this guy and he was with me in this conversation. A minute before I started calling, I didn't know what I was going to say today. I did not know. But you know how it came out? We're now already 40 minutes into this call. I didn't even start at once. I didn't even stop for 5 seconds to shit. What am I saying next? Why? Because I'm the #1 fan. When you live something, it's not a problem to talk about it, around it, whatever. You live it. You're a #1 fan. Really #1 fan. I challenge you to beat me. To make me number second fan. I'm waiting someone to tell me, Mendy, I'm going to beat you in this. I'm more fan of it than you are. Because the second time, it's impossible. You found it, it's impossible. You lost already. Because you're never going to be #1,000 fan as well. As long as you put your aim high, you're achieving high results. They always say when you shoot for the moon, you might land on the stars, but at least you see the stars. Aim high. Otherwise, you're just jumping off the first step of the front door and that's it. And if you're really that stupid, you might even break your ankle from that one step as well. I mean, really, there are people jumping from one step and they manage to screw it up. But this is life as well. There are people that just going to call someone, hey, I got this business. We're going to become multi-billionaires today. Oh, yeah, I screwed it up. Okay, it's over. Bye. I'm out. You know what you're telling me? I'm never going to be successful. That's what you're telling. I'm out. When you say I'm out, I'm never going to be successful. And it's not because I'm saying it as Vitae. Any adventure you're going through, when you say the words I'm out, you're never going to be successful. Because no person has made it to success by being out. Every single person that made it to success is by staying in. They tried one more time. They stayed in till the very last second. Every moment of them was now. If not now, when? Every single moment they were engaged was the now. They lived in the now. They didn't wait for an excuse. When is public launch? I told you already, when you ask me this question, you're telling me exactly, you have no idea how much you communicate about yourself. I mean, no Facebook or Instagram can exploit so much data about you that you just did about yourself when you ask this question. Because you're postponing something. You're looking for an excuse. You're postponing. It's too hard, Mendy. It's too difficult. Public launch is going to make it easier for me because then I'm going to crush it. Really, I'm going to crush it. The bet is still on. I bet you won't. I bet you won't. Because it all boils down to the same question. If not today, if not now, when? This is a question we need to live by every single day. Every single day. Now, the bad news is, well, I see all eyes going open. Well, you really like bad news? The bad news is that you got to ask yourself this question. That's the bad news. That's the hard part. The good news is you're not alone and you're not the only one asking this question. Indeed, you ask it to yourself, but the good news is you are part of a family. You're part of a Vitae family. Like-minded people come from different backgrounds, different practice of religions, different colors of skin, different education resources, different financial backgrounds, but all people who engage together to say, you know what, enough is enough of the status quo, and we got to build something, if not now, when? And it's not by waiting that some people in a management or in a board team should do it for us. It's with us. It's all together, because we, without you guys, have nothing to show you. And indeed, if you guys do the work and we in management and board don't do the work, or the developers don't do the work, you guys have nothing. So we need each other. We got to do it together. We can put all excuses aside and all egos aside, yeah, and decide, you know what, we're building an alternative, because whether Mendy is right in his way or is wrong in his way, it still doesn't solve, this argument still doesn't solve the issue we have with the big giants like Facebook, like YouTube, like Google, like Twitter, like whatever. It doesn't solve it. You want to have this debate, this argument? Let's have it once we have reached our goals. Once we have accomplished all these milestones. Then let's argue about us, about my upline, about my downline, about my team, about my mother, my spouse, my father, my in-laws. Don't waste your time on excuses. Have a platform to have these discussions upon. But be at least one of those who have cast their stone to this palace, to this beautiful, magnificent mansion, to have this palace, this discussion about. Be at least the person who have helped that. And don't be sitting an entire day on the other side of the toilet looking where all the stuff goes to the sewer system. Don't be there. Don't be there. Be in the building, be in the making, make some noise. Make some noise. People should know you're the #1 fan. You're building, make some noise. And if you get scratched and if you get wet paint on your trousers, when your shoes hurt, special metal shoes, and your helmet, people will know outside this person does something with this thing. I don't know where he works, but he does some construction. That's what I mean. We are one family. Now we can choose to unite ourselves together and build something together, or we can choose to be singled out and wait for someone else to do it for us. The more people will wait for someone else to do it, the more time it will take. That's the difference. It will happen. Because as long as there are people saying, I'm not giving up and I'm not out, I'm staying in, it will happen, by far. But the more people engage in the process, the faster it will happen. So my message for you today is ask yourself, not now, when are you going to do it? Number one. Number two is try to ignore the negative thoughts. Number three piece of advice that I'm telling people, let it go. All the negative thoughts, stuff that will not bring you forward, will take you backwards, or will not solve the issue. Always tell you, but what I learned from Max Goodwell, this question, what's the problem? What am I solving? Whom am I solving it for? You have a problem. Can Vitae solve it for you, the system? Yes. Who are you solving it for you? The question is, these arguments that you have, these negative thoughts, are they going to solve your problem, or are they actually going to delay your problem and grow them bigger? Delay the solution and grow bigger your problem. Ask yourself these questions. Dare to have this conversation with yourself. Be open, be bold with yourself. Very, very important. You can lie to all your friends. You can lie to your spouses, but you can't lie to yourself, because you know you're lying. You know you're lying to yourself. There is this voice in yourself that you talk to yourself, hey, you're lying. You're lying. And you don't want to be called out a lie, especially you don't want yourself to tell yourself you're a liar. You want to be the successful person. You want to see the best version of yourself. You want to live the dream. Because you have dreams, you have goals. You want to pursue them. The answer is, don't do what you did until now. Start doing something else. Start being creative. Demand from yourself more, and you'll get to your dreams. Okay? So I'm wishing you all a lovely night. I'm happy for you guys that we didn't surpass an hour, so you can have an early night. But really, I want you to go with these thoughts to your bed today. Share it with your close ones, and go full force. And whenever there is an excuse coming towards you, whether from your upline, from yourself, or from your team, but especially from yourself, always ask the question, all right, get it. If not now, when? Commit to a timing. Close it. Lock it in your schedule. In your schedule here. Lock it into yourself. There's plenty of discussions to go to the negative, and why not? I'm going to be part of that conversation if you want. I know even much more about negative stuff on Vitae than you do, probably. But this is not what takes me forward. It's the ignorance to that and the looking forward to positive and productive stuff that takes us forward. Okay, I wish you all a lovely night, a successful night. It's an honor and a privilege to be part of this Vitae family, because we are Vitae. Good night.